Hi guys, today I want to do another deck review. It's been a while since I did one of these, and with that relatively new Dutch DLC or Nation Pack, I just wanted to dive into my Dutch deck and just talk about it real short. It won't take more than 15 minutes, so don't you worry about it, because most of the stuff is pretty much already in the game. Just a few new units that have caught my eye and caught my attention. I'm just going to talk about that. So yeah, code will be in the description, so check it out if you want to give this a go yourself. And yeah, let's get to it. So I won't really go into the logistics that much. I just have a fob, some supply trucks, supply helis, and one command. And but the infantry is where it gets really interesting. Now, the infantry is definitely one of the best I have seen in a long time. It's a 15-man elite infantry squad, these Corps Mariniers. And the 1995 one actually has a better RPG, in my opinion, a better one, because it has a higher rate of fire. Now, if you do go for the regular Corps Marinier, you do get the better accuracy, but I just like the rate of fire because I can just take down APCs and forests and towns really quickly. Like if there's like a few BTR 90s, you don't want to have, you want to take them out quickly because those grenades will just shred you. So yeah, let's just talk about the cards that I have. So basic Corps Mariniers and UH-14s, basically kind of like, I don't know what these helis are called. I don't know. It look like Hueys, but they're not. But actually, are these Hueys? I don't know, they don't look like Hueys. You know what I'm talking about, right? Anyways, yeah, so basic Corps Mariniers and these UH-14s or 14s, quite good infantry, just a basic fast-moving helicopter to get into those towns quickly. And as a ground reinforcement, I have these Corps Marinier 95s in the LVT-4s. Now, these kind of look like the British vehicles with the huge amount of machine guns on the top. And it does move as slow as those, 35 off-road, but 110 on-road, so they're not that slow on-road. Quite a good transport, if I say so. One front, side, and back armor, so quite decent, and it is amphibious. So yeah, and all those 50 cals will definitely suppress your enemies by quite a lot. So yeah, as I said, the Corps Marinier 95, the reason why I go for these guys is the RPG, and obviously the lighter caliber but higher rate of fire assault rifle. So these guys are pretty much, I would use the Corps Marinier 95 in towns where there's already a huge amount of infantry, enemy infantry that is, and a lot of vehicles, and I would probably also use them in forests because of that high rate of fire. And the basic Corps Mariniers is basically a good line infantry with that 7.62 machine gun and a battle rifle, and those will be good for stunning infantry before they get into the town, but after they do, bring in these guys. Speaking of bringing in guys, I have the Stoottroepen 95, basically literally shock infantry is what the name means, or more like shock troops, 1995 version of these. Now the difference between these and the basic ones is kind of like the same as the Corps Mariniers. They have slight differences, like the caliber of the rifle and the rate of fire. The RPG is pretty much the same. Actually no, they have the 84 again, so pretty much the same as the Corps Mariniers but in shock mode. And I won't really go into the other details that much, but I just like these guys because they're cheap. 25 points, including this this weird looking transport, which has a 50 cal on top, and it does go quite fast off-road, so that's why I kind of went with this one instead of the other ones. Now you can also go for this one, which is a little bit faster, but I think it made a difference, yep, in availability. So if you go for this one, you get 14. For this one, you get 17, and if you ask me, just to get some more front armor, the amphibious option, and some more speed, I wouldn't really want to throw away 3 cards of these guys. And I use them in towns and forests anyway. There's usually a way that I can get there without having to cross water. Now, anyways, yeah, Stoottroepen, very nice infantry. It's definitely something you should put in your deck as well. Definitely check them out. Try them out in forests, in towns. They will just wreck anything you bring up against them. It's kind of like the Dutch equivalent of the German Jaeger with better AT. It definitely is. Then we have some genies. Now these are kind of like Sapeurs, just the M9 flamethrower, 9mm Uzi. Not more I need to talk about or explain about these guys. And finally we have the Vuurploeg, kind of like the light rifleman that the Americans have with that 1925 meter range Super Dragon with 50% accuracy. So quite a good AT infantry here. Now they tend to miss a lot, but sometimes I have a lot of luck with them and they kind of just wreck faces. So I do kind of keep them in my deck, but I don't use them a lot. And if I do, I just, like, you know, spontaneously spawn in 4 of them and put them in one building complex so that they actually hit one of the 4 missiles. But yeah, if you don't want to go for these guys, I recommend going for like manpads or something else. The support. So the main new unit is the Lance, kind of like the nuker. This is basically a B5 on ground. It does the same amount of HE damage as a B5, but obviously it's a lot safer to use this guy. And you do get 2 of them in your deck. How about that? You can actually get a second card with 2 more. So you can get a total of 4, and you can just level any freaking town or any base if you have 4 of these. Now I probably sense a lot of support decks coming up with 4 of these, and then quite a lot of M109s perhaps. But please don't use that. But yeah, speaking of M109, so next to the Lance, 2 Lances, I have 2 M109s. Very nice artillery pieces, very accurate, very long range, high HE power, and quite a good rate of fire as well. These guys are just my basic artillery for long range counter arty, or perhaps even stunning infantry in towns before I move in. Very nice artillery piece. Speaking of stunning infantry before I move in, I do have some mortars, and the main purpose for these guys is to lay down a smoke screen. As you guys have seen in pretty much half of all my videos, I use smoke to assault. So definitely put mortars in your deck. Very important to have those. And then finally the AA. Only 2 cards of AA, more AA than Canada though. I have 5 iHawk HEOS. These are non-radar, although the gun, when you actually are in the game, it kind of says radar here, but it is not radar. You can just use these, just keep them turned on, and just fire away. It's kind of like the Scandinavian AA that has no that has a guided missiles instead of radar missiles. Then we have some 7 Flak Panzers, good AA as well, high accuracy, high range, very nice AA to have. And yeah, that is pretty much all of the support tabs. And then to the tank tab. Now I won't talk about these tanks. I do have a lot of armor, but the one I want to talk about is Leopard 1V, and I kind of, or 1.5, and I kind of like to use this guy in combination. Just look at those stats real quick, 65% accuracy. I like to use that guy in combination with my recon tank. Look at that. The camo does look cool though. There you go. So yeah, just having 1 recon leopard 1.5 for kenning actually means reconning or scouting. Together with the leopard 1.5, which is 55 points, you can deal a lot of damage. 65% accuracy and 15 AP. You will pretty much penetrate any tank that the enemy can throw at you if you're at a decent range or at a good position, like from the side or something. So very nice combination to use. And yeah, besides that Leopard 1V, I have the 2A1, 2 cards of 2A4s. Now these are the upgraded variants of the 2A4 with, I think, a better gun, a main cannon. And same goes for the 2A1. I think it has a better gun, but we will talk about that very soon. I will compare these tanks with the German variants. And then we have the 2A5. Now there is not a single difference between this one and the German one, except for the German one having a better LMG on it, or MMG. But yeah, a lot of armor, that's for sure. So we did already go and have a look at the Leopard 1V for kenning, the reconning tank. Then we have the KCT, kind of like the commandos or something of the Dutch Royal Force. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce this, but you guys probably do. Just a very good all-around recon infantry to use on the battlefield, or just to sneak past the enemy. Not a lot of things I need to explain about recon. You guys know what recon is. Then the vehicle tab, I only have ATGMs, ATGM vehicle. Now this guy wrecks face. Look at those stats. Just 70% accuracy, 25 AP, very nice range, 12 missiles on this bad boy for 60 points. And it is also amphibious and moves quite quick on road. Now you can also go for the cheaper tows, like the Larto too. Pretty much the same stats, half of the amount of ATGMs, but absolutely no armor whatsoever. While this guy has 2 front, side, and 1 back and top armor. And it's amphibious. Now next to that, you also have some cheaper variants of that, kind of like a lower class ATGM. And even the worst class ATGM here with the basic tows. But yeah, just go for the best of the best in the vehicles tab. And the heli tab, some new units. We have the AH-64 Escort, or the Apache Escort, with 4 rocket pods. Now that is absolutely insane. It does have the a classic 30mm gun on it, the M230, which does a huge amount of damage. And for only 65 points, this guy will do a lot of damage on the battlefield. And I like to use these guys in the start to help out with my infantry, to basically stun enemy transports, basically to sacrifice them so that my units can get in the buildings and get in cover. Next to that Apache, I do have the basic Apache with 16 Hellfire missiles, again with the 30mm M230. And this thing is an absolute beast as well. You guys know what the Hellfires do. They just wreck face with that 26 AP. Now you can also go for some basic lower tier helis like the L.COL SS11, the French one, or the Bo 105 Snap. I think this is the German one or Canadian. No, I think this is actually the French helicopter as well. I'm not quite sure. And then finally, the planes. We do have a new plane here, the F-16A MLU, which is the air superiority fighter that the Dutch have. 7,700 meters range, 60% accuracy, and 2 sidewinders and a 20mm Vulcan. Very beautiful plane. It does go with 1,000 kilometers per hour, exceptional air detection, 40% ECM. Definitely a plane you want to take for air superiority. And it is actually better than the KWS that the Germans have. Then we have the F-16 block variant. Now this guy has 4 Mavericks. And you guys have already seen this guy in action in my previous videos with the Dutch or the Dutch-German combo. So if you haven't already, definitely check those out. But this guy does work. It goes to work very quickly and it just wrecks face. And on top of those 4 Mavericks, it has 2 MRAMs as well. Next to that, I have the F-16 Block 5 variant. Now this is the bombing variant. Not going to go into all of the details, but it carries 4 of these 500 kilogram bombs and has 2 sidewinders if it needs to protect itself. More F-16s. The Block 10 with the 4 cluster bombs. I don't really like to use napalm that much, but for napalm I do have the NF5B with 4 340 kilogram napalm bombs. Actually quite effective. I don't really use napalm bombers that much, but these guys definitely do some work. But yeah, that was my Dutch deck, everyone. Hope you all enjoyed. Check out the links down in the description to get in contact with me on Twitch, on Steam, Facebook, Twitter, you name it. And also check out the description for the code for this deck. And the next one that I will do, actually, let's quickly compare these tanks with the German tanks, and then we will actually call it the day. So, German 2A4s, Dutch 2A4s. So the only difference is that the Dutch 2A4 is a little bit pricier, but it has a better gun. And that is pretty much it. So yeah, and with the 2A5 there's no difference. So let's quickly look at the here we go, the 2A1s. So same price, same stats pretty much. There's absolutely no difference. I was wrong. So the only, except for the MG, the Dutch use the Mag 762. Germans use the more superior MG3. But yeah, the 2A4 is the main difference. And that is about it for today. So hope you all enjoyed this deck review. If you did, let me know down in the comments, and I will do the Dutch-German combination in the next one. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye.